I want to talk about how we can allow or how we can help creatives who use Adobe Bridge interact with the AEM repository that a lot of our customers use for managing enterprise assets. We offer a tool called the AEM Desktop Tool. I've got it installed right here, and one of the key features here is that you can mount the repository, and when you hit mount, you enter the URL for the repository, and it will show up on your desktop as if it were a file system, and you can see that here. It's a little bit different from a file system in that it doesn't actually go and bring down the entirety of the file system. It will only bring down assets on demand. So if I were to visit a specific folder like this We Retail folder and I start to dig in, then it's going to start to download assets so that I can see them. And oh, you saw that cache fill in quickly right there, right? So it was getting the assets as we needed them and then generating those or allowing the file system to generate those previews. So the important piece here is that I don't have all of the assets cached locally from the repository. It's only the ones that I have visited. So keep that in mind as we go back up the tree and we start here and we switch over to Adobe Bridge. What I'd like to do is to show you how we can search in Adobe Bridge and get much better, much more meaningful search results when we're searching in AEM. So first you can see we have DAM is mounted, and what I'd like to do is talk a little bit about how we can optimize this experience. The entry point called DAM will list a number of folders, and these folders are top-level organizational structures in AEM. If we switch over to AEM, which is right here, I'm in the Assets folder right now, but if I go up one level to that one called, is it going to let me get up there? Yeah, this is the very top. So this is the very top. It's called Assets here, and it's confusing because I've made a folder called Assets, which I probably shouldn't have done. But you can see here are my folders, and it's the same structure as I see over there, right? The difference, of course, in AEM is that I've got these previews that are being generated by the contents of the folders. Anyway, going back over to Bridge, you may or may not start a search from the very top level of DAM. We can do that, and we'll do that right now. But the best practice is typically to start in the top level folder that you want to examine and then move from there. So in this case, I've moved down to the Assets folder, and this is where the content is that I'm looking for specifically. So as a best practice, step one would be to start near the places where you want to search and then implement the search. So no, I'm not going to go and do a top-level search from the top-level entry point, DAM. I'm going to start in Assets. And the way that we do that in the Bridge is to start with the Find menu. Now, it's under the Edit, so Edit, Find, or Command-F, Control-F, either one of those will get you the Find menu. So here I've got the Find menu showing up. Where am I looking? You can see Assets, but I also have my tree and then some favorites that might be there, so I can pick other places. We're going to start in Assets. And I want to search specifically for the file name. So I happen to know the file name, but if you click on that menu there, you can see a number of metadata objects are exposed, and you can have more than one. So I might look for file name. I might also add in a different criteria like date created was, after a certain amount, whatever, right? So you can play around with that and come up with good search criteria. Now, once you've got your criteria, so in this case, I'm going to look for James. That's me. You can see it says match if any criteria is met. You can also change that to be instead of or, it could be an and, right? So you got some control. And then lastly, you can see two checkboxes. Now, the default behavior for Bridge is to not include the indexed, non-indexed folders, all right? And I want to do that first just so we can see the results. You'll also notice it says include all subfolders. So it's going to start here in Assets, and it's going to march its way through all of these folders and try and find anything that's got the name James in the file name. So we'll hit find and let it go. And you can see that was real fast, and the result was nothing. Got nothing. Well, the reason that we got nothing is because we haven't viewed any of the files yet. So as far as the drive is concerned, the expressed volume on the desktop, it doesn't have any content other than that top level and that We Retail folder that we dug into. Those are the two things that are currently mounted or the currently visible. What we can do is to change a search then. So if I continue with the same search and I include my non-indexed items, it says may be slow, and I'll tell you what, that could really be slow depending on the size of your repository, but you can do this once in a while to get an index and then continue to use the index. I'm now going to hit find, and let's see what our result is. So it churns along. Oh, aha, now I got a result. And I've got a result because the file name contains James, and you can see that it's a regular asset. I've got information in there. Normal metadata is accessible and so on. I don't have any AEM tags on this, I don't think. No, I don't, but I could maybe put one in. So let's put my name on there just so we can see it happen. And if you want to learn more about the AEM tags panel for Bridge, you can certainly go ahead and look at my blog. It has that in there. So people, I think I'm in there. There I am, James Lockman. So now I've attached this tag, this AEM tag in my namespace to that object, and it will eventually propagate back to AEM via the desktop tool. Cool. So that was great, right? I can do that search. I have found that asset, but I can also do some additional searches. So now that I have indexed, and I don't have to continue to index, I don't have to index again, I can now say, let's look at additional metadata. So let's see all the assets whose all metadata contains, say, James. There's probably other assets that do. All metadata is not the file name, just making sure everybody's clear on that. So I'll say that. If I wanted then to include file name, I could say file name also contains James. So now I'm getting everything. So all the metadata except for file name, and then I've got the file name. If any criteria are met, and we'll say go, and oh, wait, that doesn't quite look right. So let's try this one more time. We will include non-indexed files. So I guess it's going to ditch the index. We'll try again, and what am I looking at? Ah, that's better. Now I'm getting search results that make a lot of sense. And these search results will be cached, so we'll see those later. So the point is, if you're going to be doing search, you want to search in AEM and you want to see those assets, then you'll need to include that switch that says include non-indexed files. It will then go and search the repository and find those assets. If I do this again, you can see now it's going to find them. Now, as you're building the search results, you're also building caches for these files. So you may want to manage the cache. Under Tools, now we want to go back to Search Results, get out of Search Results, and go back to Assets. We'll start here. And what we'd like to do is to manage the cache. So under Tools, this is the cache for the cache for the bridge. And what I can do is to clean up my cache, for instance. And what I'd like to do is to purge for a specific location. If I want to clean it up and start again, then I can now go and select. You see how it found assets. Maybe I want to go a little bit higher. We'll wipe out all the cached, anything that's got built for a cache in the folder called DAM. We'll say open, and what it will do is burn right through that and just wipe out all of the cache for that repository. Now, one of the reasons that we want to cache images is that it makes our search results quicker, and it also will make our display better as we're working through DAM. We don't have to wait for the image to go and download. So it's not a bad idea to, once in a while, go and build a cache for folders in that are remote, like your AEM repository, and then your searches will be more improved. So hope that helps you, and good luck with DAM and Creative Cloud.